Well, it comes to my mind like I have, that was a life that I led and I've been reincarnated. It seems like that really didn't exist so far away. But it reminds me of when I went to school, because that's where I took my schooling, in a dressing room in between shows. It's where I grew up. Reminds me of the other acts and some of the teachers. Some of my teachers were chorus girls and magicians and acrobats. Anybody that was around that wanted to come in, knew anything, they imparted their information to me. So, and backstage, where I spent most of my youth, some of the wonderful people, most of the people we work with are just great. And I hear the music. I can see the proscenium very clearly. But the dressing room, the dressing tables that we had were always came in handy, because later on, when they went from 2 shows a day, to 3 shows and 4 shows, and we'd make these jumps, and we were lucky to get a gravel road in those early days. We used to have to go by in tandem. We used to follow each other, and we had bad weather. We had to follow in each other's ruts in order to get there. And then everybody was dead tired. We'd have 100 miles, 150 miles in snow or sleet or what have you. And we did a very heavy act, particularly my brothers. So they go to sleep on the makeup table in between shows. And that was their room until they got a place that night. So that's what it was, a hard work, but we never thought of it that way. It was our life. And now looking back, there would be no way now to go back and do that same kind of work. It would just be too difficult. We used to have big cars. Mother always bought 16-cylinder Cadillacs, 12-cylinder Packards, big cars. Lots of times we'd wind up with 7 of us in the same car. Car would break down. And there was a superstition in the theater and on the circus that you never go back. Later on, once you leave the stage door, you never go back. And it became a superstition, but for a real reason. There were so many acts that went back to get their wardrobe. Let's say the place caught on fire. And the act would go back to get the wardrobe or to get their music or something, then be caught in a fire and they were killed. So that's why once you leave the stage door, you never go back. You have to wait till the next show. Well, Mother, kind of silly, she carried that over to these big automobiles that we were carrying, that we were in around the country, driving around in. And if one broke down, she never went back to pick it up. So we had cars all over the country. We just we'd get on a train or a bus or some way to get to the next town. Never went back. My toys would be there and everything. I'd have to start a new collection. But that's the way we travel. And then storms, it was dreadful, because we went through hurricanes, tornadoes, and all this stuff. If we got real bad, we'd go over to some family house. And I know once we stayed in the house for 3 days when they had a tornado and floods. We went into this family and they took us in. Another time, an Irishman in a tractor pulled us out of the snow outside of Buffalo, because we would have died in there. We put up, my brother Jack had bought a Stutz, convertible Stutz, put up the top, but there were no side curtains. And the snow was coming in like crazy. We would have died there if it hadn't been for this guy. We stayed with him for a week.